So the two guests that we've got coming up next are Jira Janku, solution architect, and David Kosian, business development representative at ALVAO. Jiri and David will showcase how ALVAO is a rapidly deployable, mature ITSM and ITAM solution for small and medium-sized businesses designed specifically for Microsoft 365. Welcome, Jiri and David.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us at today's webinar. And of course, huge thanks to the Service Desk Institute for giving us this opportunity. I'm David, and I'll be guiding you throughout today's session. So let's get into it. So who actually are we? Well, in essence, we are a M365-centric ITSM and IT asset management vendor from the heart of Central Europe, Czech Republic. We've been on the market for over 25 years now, and although relatively new in the US, we already have a quite interesting testimonials and case studies. And here's just some of the main integrations from the M365 ecosystem that ALVAO integrates with. And I would say that the most popular of them would be probably Power BI, MS Teams, Intune, and Power Automate. And I should mention, of course, Copilot, because that's what everybody's talking about now. And as you can see, here's an extremely important moment for our team. Our solution is Copilot ready, and we've been highlighted during the last Microsoft Ignite conference by the CEO of Microsoft, Satya Nadella himself. So it's actually great to get some recognition in this space. And I should also mention that our software has two parts, Service Desk and Asset Management. They can be used separately, but they work on a single and unified platform. So what's the plan for today? Firstly, we'll go over the ALVAO add-in for Teams. Then we'll cover the AI assistant, of course. And after that, we'll go over CMDB and the IT asset management piece in general. And the joiners, movers, leavers process should come last. And well, it shouldn't come last because we'll go over reporting as well. And without further ado, let me introduce you to the man who will show you the actual solution in detail, Iri, and he's the onboarding lead here at ALVAO. So over to you, Iri.
Yeah, thanks, David, and nice to meet you all. So let's just, jump right in. So we'll start with our ALVAO for Teams integration. Really great feedback on that, and especially on the US market, I have to say, because we were able to get rid of a lot of mailboxes and bring more communication to Teams, but everyone already spends their time there. So it's both for the requester and that and the agent scenarios, it's gonna be there, and it's really easy not to switch apps. So we are just seeing a scenario when Veronica asks for a VPN. So without actually leaving the Teams client, she gets a notification to the Teams client, maybe to email as well. We have customers that have already switched from email notifications, and that's James we are seeing now. So his ticket queues are being shown here as well. Can work without any, with all features basically here. So opens the ticket from Veronica. There is live status from Teams, so you can just easily just start to chat with her. So no delays in communication, no waiting for email. Maybe the window is still open. We can do that right away. So you just ask like, what's the reason for VPN, because he needs that justification for the ticket. So really quickly, I will just we already saw that or heard that. So that was Veronica creating the ticket without actually leaving Teams client. So we just simulate the self-service portal directly like here. There is a Teams notification both for Veronica, like requester, and James, the agent. And then basically the important part was actually this one to show that she's online. He will trigger the chat with her. There is a normal chat in Teams, and then the justification message you can just upload easily to the ticket, save the message in there, and this is where I will actually stop it, because that's what resonates a lot, because you always have there's always this by the way. So yeah, you will just create another ticket for her because the printer is broken. So I think we all know that, and you do that better than me. So just categorize the ticket, assign it to me potentially, or resolve it, but you will have that audit trail ready. So that's the notification again for the context, and they can continue it in the reports and so on. So I will just go back to the slide to show you a little bit of that Copilot as well, because we see one of the channels already. We have the ALVAO for Outlook as well. So we are one of those certified Copilot extensions. So what does that mean in practice is that ALVAO can be one of those data sources that come into the extensive and really broad and really capable language models. So not only can you use data from your SharePoint, Teams communication, maybe email. It can help you to prepare for your next meeting with a manager or prepare for your holiday. Ask different questions about the tickets and assets to really build on the context you have in your company. It's really practical. I'm using it every day, I have to say. And this is just example of different channels that we support. We already saw some of those. That we have also mobile app. There is always that walk-in or call-in through a dispatcher, definitely. And on the right side, what we are seeing is different ways how to raise a ticket, like in a non-user way. So we have a really broad and well-documented REST API for integrations. So on the top of our native integrations that we have a broad spectrum as well, we have REST API, and on the top of that, Power Platform connector, so you can use that as well. So let's switch to the environment, itself. Sorry for that. Can just switch to James's perspective. So that's our homepage for users, but not in this case. It simulates the Teams integration, or it really mirrors the same views. So I'm just gonna show you the agent perspective, different queues that we saw those on the Teams as well. So the first example I'm gonna show you is the extremely long ticket. Potentially there is a kilometer-long ticket. In this case, it came from Zabbix or PRTG or Nigel. So it's really structured at the beginning. So it's really well categorized, but you don't want to read the whole thing. So that's the reason why we have the AI assistant, like this great page or tab that will show you. You don't have to read it. It's especially useful when you are like the fifth or sixth agent or responsible agent for that ticket. No one was able to do that. Requirements are changed every time. Then there is the categorization bit. So this one, as I said, is well categorized. It was created using the Zabbix integration, so that's why. Then the most important part is the major incident score. So it shows me different past incidents that are the same configuration. So based on all the information about the ticket, and most importantly, I would say it's the linked configuration item. In this case, it's a business critical server. So that's why this has been diagnosed or noticed and marked as a major incident, like 100% sure. So I can potentially automate creating a problem and doing what's necessary in the long run, maybe after it's resolved, but now we have to put out the fire. So that's the incident score. There is a part about similar incidents, similar tickets based on similarity. This is really useful for requests as well, not only incidents and possible solutions, again, AI generated and from ALVAO together. So the CMDB bit is actually linked and shown to you directly within the context of the ticket. So we have, all different relationships, so you can see what's not working and maybe what's the impact on your business services. So that was more like the CMDB incident, like the hard stuff, right? So when I switch to something more easy or normal request or incident reported by a user, you can see Veronica reported that iPhone is not working. So it's we can see why is that. So on that objects page, it's not really like configuration item and on that big context, but it's normal end user device. In this case, iPhone loaded from Microsoft Intune. So that's why this button is here, because always are able to point you to the right point solution just by providing you helpful link. And that this is exactly our uniqueness, I would say, or I'm sure it is, because that's the feedback we are getting. So you are able to build your whole organization within this asset tree structure, and we are really able to do that within the first meeting to provision your Entra ID users, syncing your Intune devices, using that together to using the auto-generated asset tree. So it's gonna be online, and it's gonna be like low touch ITAM solution. You don't have to go there and change things. It's gonna be there, and the asset tree is able to do like different perks such as inheritance. So you just move it or it's moved, and a lot of attributes are being inherited from the top. So that's really practical. And definitely there is a history, that synergy to show you the history of the ticket, not only the audit trail, but the related tickets as well.
All right, let me just quickly jump in, Yuri. Actually, one of the biggest pain points we hear on calls with customers is the joiners, movers, leavers process. The leavers process itself that is managed here is extremely helpful when people leave your organization, because you obviously know what they should return. And when people leave, they of course have to get the equipment at the beginning of their job tenure. And the IT department often learns about the new employees at the last minute, which is a huge issue. So, Yuri, could you actually show us the joiners, movers, leavers process in practice?
Yeah, definitely. Because in order to be sure what to get back at the end, we need to standardize that at the beginning as well and track the whole history of that employee. So that's our employee onboarding form. It's a little bit more complex than the normal one, but I've seen much more complex, and we are able to make those really helpful. So it's not that the hiring manager needs to know everything about each necessary permission, but by selecting IT, for example, I always know what the standard is for that position or department. So I will just fill out the rest of this form. Sorry. Select who's the manager gonna be. Maybe it's gonna be in New York, fixed term, 12 months. The start date is already pre-selected based on like the first working day of the next month. So the most typical setup, as you already know. And maybe also some of our customers actually don't use this form, but they call its logic to create this main ticket using a REST API. But the reason why they are doing it is to trigger that breakdown logic. So as you can see, there is quite a lot of tickets. Some of them are automatically assigned the training tickets to the David we selected as the future manager. Some are for the permissions, hardware. Some they trigger their own responsibilities and workflows. Some of them could be automated, which is this case, like creating the Entra ID account, potentially automatically adding the user to the groups, maybe based on a like template user we can use. So when this one is auto resolved based on the Power Platform flow that we have certified as well, it will be closed and potentially can open different tickets that are waiting for that Entra ID account, so they can just use it in their apps. So ALVAO is one of those cases. We use Entra ID as a main source of personal data. So I've shown you a little bit of user perspective, agent perspective, and what's definitely missing is the reporting bit. So that's like manager perspective. So that's the reporting. So I think you can guess how we approach this. So we have a certified Power BI template. You can actually open it using your Power BI service to actually see the template data, and later on you can connect it to your ALVAO instance. There is a predefined data model. It's open, so you can change it, predefined pages, and then yeah, if you know Power BI, you are able to tweak it to your needs, or potentially we can do that for you and improve on that feedback. So there are just a few examples. For example, yeah, your service catalog volumes. service level agreement, success or compliance, how you are able to do that, some trends, breakdown, who's responsible, who's the biggest volume, then really drill down to SLA bit, so the hard metric. I can see what's the satisfaction or not, the response and resolution times, fulfillment, how we are able to do that. Again, who is more successful than other, and why is that? Then the soft bit as well, so that the satisfaction feedback, trends, and then we are able to combine the two together to diagnose the what we call, or what is normally called, a betterment SLA. So not everything that's quick, there is a happy user, and the other way around. Definitely a lot of reports that can help you to regarding the asset management, planning your budget, show you warranty expirations, and so on. Different examples from configuration management, and combining the faultiest assets. So we've had customers, ourselves included, we changed our laptop model based on the history that we saw that a lot of incidents are reported with the network card, for example. So we changed the model, and this one is really special. So we are able to help you with saving money, basically, spot cost savings that you are overspending on a Microsoft 365 licensing. Maybe the license is still there, but the user doesn't work in your company anymore, and different metrics like that to show you how you can save money. So basically, that was all for me, and back to the studio, David.
Thanks a lot, Yuri, for showing us a sneak peek of ALVAO, ITSM, and IT asset management. There's much more to show you, but we obviously don't have enough time to get to everything today. But if you'd like to see more, we have a YouTube channel full of overview videos, or you can also try out ALVAO for yourself via the QR code you can see on screen. And as Yuri said earlier, the deployment of IT asset management itself is really rapid, and it can be virtually done during the first session. With our tool, I would say you can let service desk overtake your mailbox. And with the asset management part, you could leave your Excel spreadsheets behind if you wanted to. And if you already have a trial of the solution up and running, there is obviously no need for extra implementation costs. And if you want, you can also visit the website we have and ask for a custom tailored demo along with the pricing. So I think that's everything from me and Yuri, and I guess thanks and have a great day. Back to you, Matt.
Great stuff, guys. Fantastic. I've got some questions for you guys real quick. Nothing too crazy, but I want to know, like, when I introduced you, you talked about how you're tuned for Microsoft 365, or it's like perfect for Microsoft 365. What does that mean exactly? Like, I saw the look; it looks a lot like Microsoft's products, but is it like integrated well? Why would someone with 365 be totally interested in ALVAO?
Yeah, if I can, like, integration is just, well, first of all, that's long time our strategy to be really Microsoft partner, and it really makes the adoption so much easier. There is like no training for the end users, also for agents, and then the integration is like a second part. So it really helps with the adoption of the tool, and then our customers are Microsoft focused as well. So I think like Power BI, Intune, Power Platform for different automations, and a lot of what I've shown you. So not only like the Teams integration, but Outlook integration. I think a lot of customers or organizations are using these, so we just want to, it's gonna great, like really, it's good money to spend on Microsoft. So we are helping you to extend that to with our tool. So yeah.
I love it. Yeah, it's a strategy. You guys have a strategic go-to-market strategy. I love it. It's totally brilliant. I have yet to see competitors say specifically that we are tuned for Google Workplace, because I think there's too many negative opinions about that. So it'd be interesting to see if someone ever does that. And I'm curious because asset management is such an interesting process. And I saw your drop down of your assets. I forget what you call it. the registry. It's all the objects basically.
Yeah.
And that looks a lot like Microsoft too. That looks a lot like Active Directory or console. Oh my gosh. But I'm curious, how do those devices get in there? Is it agents? Are there agents installed on like those iPhones that you were reporting on? Or is it discovery, or is it a mix of both? How do the assets get in there?
Yeah, the asset management, it's like what we call like should be single point of truth. So there are various data sources. So the primary ones we are using like almost every time is Entra ID for users. You are, as a customer, define the scope of the user provisioning. So you define which groups to go into asset management and which are not. So we always ask the customer, do you have a group for all employees and so on? Then Intune is the second one for all devices, providing that link there to do more in Intune. So that's for tablets, iPhones, laptops, and so on. Then we have also our own agent. So for Windows devices, scanning software, and also we haven't touched that, but there is a whole piece about like software asset management as well. So that's just three of them. But CSV or Excel sheet import, there is always some non-detectable attributes, like financial ones, let's say, different integrations to tools like the Zabbix I described, or I could continue forever. But the first one is always Entra, Intune, and like some Excel sheet that we then can, close.
That's reality, man. That is totally reality. There are still entire IT shops being run on Excel spreadsheets. So if you are one of them, you are in the right place at a tool demo day to see how many other options there are out there, because Excel will kill you, man. It'll kill you. It'll kill your processes too, right? Okay. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for doing this presentation, and thanks for showing us your tool.
Thank you too.
Thank you too.